Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is John. I'm a filmmaker slash creator and your host for Make Limited Podcast, where we talk about how to change our circumstances when life happens. In other words, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Today, we are talking about having a plan in 2022 and beyond. What's going on, everyone? This is your host, John. I'm so glad that you are here today. It is an amazing time to be listening to Make Limited Podcast. I am so excited today to talk to you about having a plan in 2022 and beyond. We are here another Tuesday, a beautiful day, and we are so glad that you are joining us to listen to what we have to say today. Welcome if you are new to our podcast. I'm your host, John, and thank you so much for being with us today. We just cannot say enough times thank you for your support and everything that you are doing with Make Limited Podcasts. Again, now let's talk about the podcast. We're talking today on having a plan in 2022 and beyond. What does that look like, right? What does that look like? Why are we talking today about this? Well, in the previous podcast that we talked about a New Year resolution, right? We talked about what it meant to have a New Year resolution, how to go about it, and how to really excel on that, right? And so on our second podcast of this year, we talked about being a doer, right? We talked about being a doer this year and how we can just not only be a doer but also have results with it. And now today we're talking about having a plan for 2022 and beyond. Why are we talking about this? Because one thing that we learned from last year is that having a plan when you are facing a year of 365 days is crucial so that you can get through it and learn and grow to be better humans. And there's no other way to do it. You know, when you have a plant, you have to know a process of how that plant grows, right? We always talk about growing in nature here because it's what we relate to, you know, it's what we learn from. And so as we learn from nature that there's a plan and everything has a place, we know that us as humans, we also have to have a place and we have to plan for what's ahead. If we don't plan, we fail, right? We just fail to plan and that's it, because it's really easy to fail to plan. You just do nothing. You just plan to do nothing, right? So let's talk about our first thing first, right? And that is, number one, is goals, right? What is a goal? Well, a goal is an object of a person's ambition or effort, right? That is the simple definition of a goal. Something that you are focusing on, that drives you, that you want to put your effort, your strength, your mind, everything in it, because you are looking forward to accomplishing something that you are focused to reach, right? So that's a simple definition of a goal, right? Something that you aim or you desire results from. So how do we create this goal? What is it that we need to do to look at it? Now, we're not going to talk into depth of how to plan a goal. We just are going to talk about the main points of a goal, right? Because I want to give you that perspective of the overall goal and how you can achieve it. So first of all, what does a goal give us? A goal gives us, or it creates, discipline. This is why it's important to have a goal for 2022 and beyond. We learn from 2021, we learn from 2019, and we keep on learning that plan is so crucial. So what are the benefits of this plan, right? How do we, work through it to achieve it? By discipline. It creates a discipline and it shows us discipline. Why? Because we're starting to see that if we miss one day, we are one day behind. 2 days, 3, 4, 5. it gives us how to schedule and how to manage things. So it creates a discipline that we know we're going to have a routine. We're going to have something that we are doing consistently and pushing forward, right? When it comes to having a goal. What else does it give us? Well, another thing that it gives us patience. And what is patience? Virtue. And what's the beautiful thing about virtue in here, right? Not only does it help you be patient on what your goals are and reaching them and trying to meet your deadlines and all those things, checking off everything that you need to check off, it creates virtue. And what is virtue? It's a high quality of things, a high moral standard. So when you're looking at this, when you're waiting for things to happen within your goal and for you to accomplish them, you're creating that patience that is turning your discipline into virtue, into what you're holding yourself to, your morals, your beliefs, your values, those standards that you stand by. You know that it takes some sort of effort for you to accomplish these goals. So it creates that patience, and patience is virtue. It starts creating standards that you live by because you see that you need to accomplish certain things to get to your goal. Now, next we have it molds your character. Goals mold your character. And how does this happen? Well, it happens through your process. As you're going through life, you're going the hero journey, right? You're going through life, you're going to have ups and downs when you go into your goals. Some goals you're going to achieve, some goals you're not, and you're going to learn from them. You're going to grow from them, and they're going to make you stronger, right? Because even though a failure is a failure, we learn from our failures. And what do we learn from our failures? We learn of the mistakes that we need to look at when we're trying to face this goal once again. And how can we do better? What do we need to do? What can we improve in, right? According to these mistakes. So it molds your character, right? As we learn, it creates your discipline, and you start molding your character. You start knowing that you need to get things done. You need a routine. You need something that you can grow on and keep doing every day because you need to accomplish your goals, right? You need something that keeps on going. So it's creating your character to discipline. And then you know that it takes time to reach your goal. So it's creating that patience, that wait, and needs to see the whole picture. So it's creating you a quality of how you manage things and how you keep yourself on high standards to get there. And that is a moral, a value that you are creating, which ultimately is becoming your character. You're becoming a person who's disciplined, who's patient, who holds themselves to high standards. You're a person who is driven, and you start creating that character because you know you need them to accomplish your goal. Now, this is why in 2022 and beyond, goals and planning your goals are very important because they're creating in you a new person. And that's the beautiful thing about this. So what do we have next from goals? Well, we have vision. And what is vision? Well, vision is the ability to think about or plan the future with imagination or wisdom. Now, this is beautiful. That something that I want to go into, and something that I believe sometimes we lack from goals, and we just think that goals is something in life that we need and we need to accomplish it. But goals without vision is emptiness. It's just pretty much checking off boxes and completing something, right? It becomes meaningless. So vision brings that life into your goals. And how does it do that? Well, it gives you the ability to think about your plans, to imagine, right? So let's go a little bit deeper into vision. So what does vision give us? Well, it lets you see what's to come. Okay? It lets you see what is to come. What does that mean? It means, that you're not like a wizard or something that you can see the future, but it lets you see what's ahead of you, your future, in other words. Why? Because you are looking, imagining your future of what it could be. Once you plan it, you're really drawing your picture into life. You start with the blueprints, you start creating it, you start molding it, and it starts creating the full picture that you have in your mind. And that's the beautiful thing about vision, that it lets you see what's ahead, what is to come, the future. What do you hold? only you can see that because you're the one who is planning. That's why it's so important for 2022 to have this plan, a vision in your plan. What else does vision let us do? Well, vision gives you wisdom. What do I mean by wisdom? Well, it gives you insight. And how does it give you insight? Because as you are going through your vision, as you're going through your goals, you are realizing one thing, that people have done it before you. Lots of people. History shows us of many people who have done so many things ahead of us. And what do we get? We get their blueprints. What does that mean for us? That means that we can learn from other people's success and other people's mistake. And we can make the best choices of that. That's why wisdom comes in hand. It teaches us, it guides us, it leads us what not to do, what to do. Where is the main juiciness of success that we can reach it to its ultimate potential? This is the beautiful thing about vision. It gives you wisdom. And lastly, what does vision give us? Well, vision makes the impossible possible. This is amazing because so many people think that when they think about something, that man, it can't be possible. It takes years for that to happen, or something like that, right? Or it would never happen. And the thing is that people before us thought the same thing, and people before them thought the same thing, and people before they thought the same thing. So what do you think is going to happen to us when 100 to 200 to a million years from now? What do you think is going to happen, or thousands years from now, right? Because our history goes down to the thousands, even to the millions. What do you think people, God willing, we're still existing by then, is going to happen? Well, I'll tell you what's going to happen. What we can imagine now could possibly be happening then. And one of the most interesting things that I heard from a scientist or us talk about is that, the people that see us now, like way, way, way back then, they would probably think of us as like almost gods. So imagine in the future how we're going to be thinking about the people that are literally nothing's going to be impossible for them. I mean, teleportation. You're talking about having a portal where you're having your wall that opens up that you can travel across the universe. Not only that, but galaxies. I mean, imagine how that could be possible. Again, vision makes the impossible possible. This is the play that we talk about, the imagination. If you can imagine it, it can happen. That's why it's so powerful with your words, with your beliefs, what you think in your mind. It's powerful because it can be created. That's the beautiful thing about it. Yes, in the future, people are going to be able to create worlds out of nothing. It's just crazy. But that's how far knowledge can go. And it's an unending infinity thing that keeps on growing, right? So these are things that make and give life to goals, and what makes a plan in 2022 and beyond so crucial and so exciting to think about. And lastly, we're going to talk about heart. Have a heart in your plan. And there's three things that I want to go into this, right? And having a heart in 2022 and beyond when it comes to planning. First one is be true to what you are after or seeking. Be true to it. What does that mean? Well, that means that whatever you're doing it 100%. Don't let anything take you from it, distractions or anything like that. I like to say, and I took this advice, and I'm glad I took this advice, that whatever I am doing at that moment, I always strive to be there 100%. Always. Why? Because the people that are around me deserve that 100%. Because I want to give 100% to the people who are there. One of the things that I live by is treat others as you would like to be treated. I would like to be treated where people give me 100% of their time, as I give 100% of mine. And it's so crucial because this really will take you out when it comes to customer service or anything like that. It takes you a long way. It takes you a long way. Trust me. I've been around so many customer service and I've seen horrible customer service when it comes to even just going the extra mile with someone. It's like if it doesn't benefit me, I don't want anything a part of it, right? And that's the mentality that a bunch of people have. Why? Because people want to be benefited, and I get it. I get it. But sometimes it's just better to give. It's just better to give than to receive, and it's more satisfying as well. So when we talk about having a heart in your plan in 2022 and beyond, we're talking about be true to what you are after and seeking. Give it 100%. Give it all you have. Why? Because you only have one life. And if you do it right, then that's all you need. It's such a beautiful thing to think about. And our second thing here is have humility. I cannot tell you how much or how important it is to have humility in your life. Something that's going to keep you rooted down, that you know where you came from. You know where you've gone through. Keep that with you at all times. Because if you get up there in the clouds, one of the things is never think more of yourself than you are. Don't. I've seen so many people think of themselves better and greater, and then they're humiliated by someone else who is better. There's always going to be someone better. There's always going to be somebody who has more power, and that's always going to be a competition of somebody taking down or taking over someone else's stuff. But the main thing that I say for this year, when you're planning, have humility. Something that reminds you where you came from, so that you can keep on pushing, keep on going. And lastly, which connects with our second one here, and have a heart, is be kind. Be kind and give back. And whatever you're doing, be kind to others. And when you are able to give back because you have been given in abundance, give back. Give back with the amount that you can, not the amount that you're forced to, not the amount that you really don't want to get to. Well, don't ever do this. If you don't want to give the amount because you want to save more for yourself, like say for example, the story about in the Bible when they talk about a person who sold their land and was going to give it to the church, and they had promised a certain amount, which I believe was half of it, but they ended up getting greedy and didn't want to give all of it and give a little portion. But instead of doing that, they should have just admitted that they wanted more to themselves and give to the church what they wanted to give. You know, don't ever put yourself in a situation when you feel forced, when you feel like you have to do it, when you feel like you need to do things because people are watching you. One of the main things is be kind, first of all. Be kind and give back in the amount that you can. Okay? Don't overdo. Don't try to, be great and do so all these people can see you, because it's pointless. You'll receive your reward. People will applaud to you, but in the end of it, it's not going to be something that you feel good about. It's just going to be something that is gained because you just give whatever amount. And there's nothing to that. But when you give out of your heart, when you give from what you have received, it is such an amazing feeling and blessing, not only to your life, but to your family and those that keep going in your generation. So, we talked today about having a plan in 2022 and beyond. We looked at goals. What are some of the things that goals gives you? It gives you discipline, it gives you patience, high moral standards, and it molds your character. But in order to have this full character with an amazing life to it and worth doing, is vision. Because vision not only gives you that character and beyond, but it gives you, first of all, it gives you imagination. How? Because it lets you see what is ahead. Because you get to imagine what is ahead and make it real. It gives you wisdom because you're allowed to see other people's history and how they were successful and where did they fail. It lets you see the impossible as possible. But vision without a heart is also pointless. Because what does a heart give you? A heart gives you something to be true for. It gives you humility and it gives you kindness. So this year, as you're looking forward into the year, and as you're looking to really be that better human that you know you can be, remember about the plan in 2022 and beyond. The 3 things that will help you have an amazing year, successful year, and then a great year that you can be proud and happy about that you accomplished. These 3 things, goals, vision, and heart, that would lead you this year. Don't leave them behind. Take them all 3 with you. And trust me, they're going to give you a great 2022. And I wish you the best. All right, you have come to the end of today's podcast. Thank you so much for joining Make Limited Podcast and your host, John. I am so happy today that you were a part of our podcast, that you listened, that whatever you were doing at that moment, it elevated your life. It just took you to the next level and you are ready for your day. Thank you so much once again, for being here with us. And before you go, again, if you want to let us know how Make Lemonade a podcast is transforming your life, you can always reach us at makelemonadepodcast.com or on our Facebook page at Make Lemonade Podcast, and you can send us a message, DM us, and let us know how Make Lemonade is just really elevating your life and those of your family and friends that you have shared this podcast with. And before we go as well, we want to give you some announcements that we've been talking about that are to come in February, and I'm super excited to announce this. Our first one being the new logo that we're going to be having for our seasons to come, and it's so amazing. We're going to have that new episode up that is going to be just great for your elevation in your life. Again, new logo, new season, and we're going to be having special guests that are going to be coming with us, talking on podcasts on different topics that are going to be very, very beneficial to your life. And I hope that you are greatly inspired and motivated to be better humans with that. And again, also, we're having a new intro to our podcast, which is going to be amazing. I'm super excited for you to hear it. It's going to be just great, and I just can't wait because it's going to be amazing. So between then, we thank you so much for being here on another podcast. We are on our 3rd week, and it's just amazing. So thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time. Peace.